What is up, everyone? This is Soul, and today we are back. We're going to celebrate an episode of Leak Season where we take a look at whatever the heck the public has to reveal for us as to, what's going to happen next in the world of Warcraft, and we're going to roast it. Please like the video, subscribe for more stuff. Catch me wherever I'm live. I happen to be live with chat right now in case we want to react to stuff. I'm sorry. Usually I come at most of WoW content with this air of positivity and even-handedness, but not here. When it comes to Leak Season, I come at this as a very ardent skeptic, and I'll just trash talk, I'll curse. It seems almost uncharacteristic of me, but it's not. I just come at this with not loathing, but just this kind of like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. So, I hope everyone's doing well. We have 4 leaks to look at. 3 of which seem like basic stuff. One of them is like pretty cool, but they're all fake. So let's take a look, starting with this thing called Midnight Details. Take this how you will, but Midnight is shaping up to be one of the most thoughtfully prepared expansions in years. I don't know if this is actually a leak. Let's find out. By the way, I react to all these things. I don't know these in advance. The narrative is centered squarely on Xala'tath and its legacy, not just the Sunwell, but what that symbol means to the different elven cultures. If you're into Blood Elf or Void Elf lore, there's a lot to chew on. Ilaria and Northrend take leading roles along with someone we haven't seen in a long time. Wow, Leaker, why are you teasing us with who this other character is? You're leaking. Just tell us these things. That said, the scope isn't just Elven, there's a broader focus on race identity in general, particularly how it's been reduced to min-maxing. I've heard they're not limited I've heard they're not thrilled with racial abilities being such a decisive factor, and there are efforts underway to push races towards cosmetic and narrative depth rather than raw power. That's something I'd like, actually. On the world side, expect more than just the visual updates. Ghostlands, Eversong, and nearby zones are getting meaningful reworks. Think layout changes, story layering, phasing tech. The phase diving feature from 11.2 was, from what I gather, a dry run for what's to come. That makes no sense to me. How is an ability that just changes the whole function of a zone like a dry run for what's to come? I mean, we've already had that. We had the Maw. The Maw had its own kind of feature where you do a thing, and then all of a sudden, the whole damn Maw plus Korthia changes into something else. So, yeah, nice try. This dude didn't play Shadowlands. Good for them. So, as for features, I won't say much about what's already been shown. You know what that is. I don't know what that is. Yeah, sassy. But it's being built on a system with far more potential. There's been internal discussion, nothing greenlit to be clear, about using it for guild strongholds, forward bases, and even island colonization in future content. Again, not for launch, but it's something that's on the radar. Then why talk about it? Also worth watching, there's something in the works that resembles a faction alignment system. It's not Covenants 2.0, but Light versus Void won't be flavor text, or it won't just be flavor text. From what I heard, the Light plays a far more active role in the expansion's title lets on. I expect 12.1 to lean into this in a big way. Yeah, a bunch of teases, like just say things, dude. No new class this time, but there's a feature in the pipeline that allows for more combat expression and class flavor. Not a total overhaul, more like giving classes a visual or thematic variance, like hero talents maybe. It's exciting, but it's also uneven. Evokers, Death Knights, and Demon Hunters might feel a bit left behind early on, though the plan is to expand it over time. No Avalorn at launch, it's being saved for 12.2. So, they're gonna save the Empire for, all this setup and all that for one patch. I mean, we've seen expectations of whole planets and whatnot being featured for only a patch, and that's it. So that wouldn't be super surprising here, but I definitely feel like WoW is setting itself up for, the Arathi Empire to be like this really, really big and, kind of like a more persistent presence than what we usually see. And regarding the root lands, it's not scrapped, but it's shifted. That's kind of a no-brainer, dude. Content and tone have changed significantly from the original pitch. Don't expect it before 12.1.5 at the earliest. The zone itself is beautiful. Think Fairless if it was subterranean, so the Ringing Deeps. but there's no major feature tied to it anymore. That's all I'll say for now. You'll see more soon. Everyone knows it's make or break. Wow, way to be dramatic, buddy. Yeah, that's... Chat's making a good point. How much of these are like AI, are going to be like AI written too? And even then, like, let's assume that this wasn't. Maybe it should have been, because this is not. I guess this sounds naturally written, but it's also just like, ugh. More fundamentally though, when you're leaking, just say everything. Say what you know, because you're already sticking your neck out. You're already going to get caught, most likely. You might as well just like reveal the whole thing instead of trying to tease. This kind of leans into how some people talk about, oh yeah, clearly Blizzard is purposely leaking this because they're just trying to gauge audience interest. No, they actually have test groups to do that sort of stuff. But yeah, people will be like, oh no, we're going to post something on MMO Champion of all places because that is where we're going to get a great audience. To get feedback for. So yeah, nice try, Midnight Details. So now we're on WoW Midnight Leak. See, this is a bit more straightforward. Let's freaking go. New class, Spellblade, a hybrid melee magic fighter that blends light and arcane. Okay. The specs include a light and void DPS, not sure what is ranged or what is not, and a ward breaker. Kind of probably like a spellbreaker, because hey, they have shields, so of course they're going to be a tank, right? They wield the one-handed swords or glaives and use focus crystals. Story Arc 1: Shadows in the Sun while players defend Silvermoon as the Void tries to corrupt the Sun from within. Kind of a reasonable prediction. Story Arc 2, or I guess Season 2, The Shattered Oath. Dawnblade family returns with their own army, forcing players to choose alliance mid-campaign. Sounds like it comes out of nowhere, but that sounds like it seems like a kind of a plausible, hey, let's like try something different. And then Season Story Arc 3, Night Unending, introduction of the Eclipsed NPC faction, former High Elves who have merged with Shadow Magic willingly. Wait, so aren't those Void Elves? This is 8/10/2024, okay. The Eclipsed faction, former High Elves, who have merged with Shadow Magic willingly. Yeah, that sounds like Void Elves to me. New zones, Eversong Woods, Eversong, Ghostlands, okay, so actual new zones, Moonglass Coast, Whisper Bloom Glade, Hollow Star Depths. So, well, sorry, Amani. No trolls for you guys. 8 new dungeons, 4 leveling, 4 max level. Typical themes include a collapsing mana reactor in Airship Siege and the Darkmoon Fair. The Darkmoon Fair is a dungeon? Interesting. New raid, Citadel of Midnight. Wow, that's like kind of like boop. Right here, dude. A 10 boss raid. A 10 boss raid. Oh, that seems fake already. Okay. This thing was like, okay, not convinced, but okay. 10 boss raid? No. I don't know. Like, it feels like, WoW is pretty hard up on the 8 boss raid format, which, not everyone's too happy about, but they seem happy about it, so that seems cool. But yeah, 10 boss raid culminated in a fight against the Unmaker's Hand, a massive void forged construct. Isn't that like like an Argus reference? The Unmaker? Argus the Unmaker? Or maybe I'm not remembering correctly. Dynamic faction events. Weekly zone invasions where void and light forces dynamically capture outposts. Players can flip them in real time. Good luck with that. Good luck with something like that in the context of phasing and sharding and that sort of stuff. This could have come off with more convincing things. Like if they also focused on those challenges that I talked about, that I just mentioned, where maybe it's like a region thing, where everyone in the region is like teaming up to like do stuff. But I don't know. Anyway, hero talent trees include. Not everything, but for mages, they get Sunstrider. Focused on light-based area damage and teleport tricks. Shadow Sentinels for hunters. Shadow Sentinel? So like Dark Ranger wasn't enough. We need to have like, yeah. I guess the whole thing is stealth, but that's very weird for a hunter, I think. And then Gilded Defender, shield throw tanking style. Okay, it's not a two-handed shield though, so it's kind of like whipped, whatever. New system, Void Rifts. Small cracks appear in the open world, leading to many instances with randomized bosses, loot, and narrative snippets. That seems cool. This sounds neat. You know, I would be a fan of something like this where, you know, kind of like in lieu of like World Quest or something like that, you can have something that you can inject into any part of the world that you want. Or maybe they can make it be like, okay, on certain days it's going to be like this area is going to have like cracks or whatever. It would kind of suck because it would end up being limited to like certain areas. But I guess that's okay. But yeah, I think that'd be a cool kind of neat thing to have to bring people to like other parts of the planet. New profession gear, artisan furniture crafting for housing. Enchanters combine cosmetic visual effects to home decor. Enchanters combine cosmetic visual effects to home decor. So now your couch is like glowing. Or your lights are okay, that makes even less sense. Or your rug, oh my god, your rug now, you know what'd be kind of funny is if one of the enchantments was to like mosaic stuff. Okay, that doesn't sound fun at all, but whatever. That just kind of came to mind. Twilight Hunt feature, dynamic server-wide bounty events, where the first raid group to down the target gets their names displayed on a banner in Silvermoon for a week. Also sounds cool, but I have a feeling the implementation of this, if real, would be weird. Gotta be in a raid group. You gotta down the target. So it's like for a week. So during that one moment on reset day, because that's when that would happen, on reset day, every server in the region will be brought to their knees, right? Every server will be brought to their knees because everyone's trying to get in on and trying to get a tag or something like that. Yeah, you have to be the first raid group. What if it's like a shared tag kind of thing? Yeah, because then you're gonna have like weird Undasta kind of competitiveness. Yeah, so I don't think that would work. Oh well. Playable guitar instrument. Bars aren't a new class, but players can craft in-game lutes, guitars, and drums to play scripted or custom tunes at roleplay gatherings. I think it'd be cool to have like a custom jukebox where we can compose our own music and then play that. I think that would be neat. You know, so that way it doesn't have to be limited to a guitar. We could basically have a little garage band app inside World of Warcraft. That'd be kind of wild. Housing prestige mode. Certain rare housing blueprints only appear during active invasions, requires defending the zone to unlock the blueprint drop. That's just kind of a box to check. I think the housing approach has mostly been they want it to be mostly easy for everyone to get like most everything. War of the Veil meta event, server spanning campaign over 4 weeks where Light and Void forces push a front line across Quel'Thalas. Players pick a side for the duration and get exclusive cosmetic armor based on the outcome. Why would players pick a side? Yeah, if players are going to pick a side, then I expect somewhere in this readout to be like, throughout the whole expansion, you can choose a side, you know, Void or Light or whatever. Why is it limited to like just that? Oh well. New mount type of Sky Whale, an aerial mount with an internal room. Other players can enter mid-flight similar to passenger mounts, but with decor slots. That's who's gonna do that? Ain't no one gonna do that. Yeah, guys, go into the room while I fly us into fatigue areas, and you guys don't know it. Sure, yeah, that's sounds ridiculous, but kind of fun too. Secret Infinite Arcane Spec, not so secret. Rumored hidden hero talent tree for Spellblade, unlocked only by completing the Vault of the Whispers raid on Mythic with 0 wipes. Was this inspired by... When was this made? This was made 2 days ago. Yeah, this was 100% added in because of the whole Tazavesh thing that was talked about. Day and night story shift. Certain quest lines only trigger if you log in during specific in-game times. Story NPCs change appearance and dialogue between day and night. I mean, that sounds like a cool thing, but it ultimately doesn't work out because it's kind of counter to what WoW mostly is. and part of that is they don't want, or at least players have given feedback that they don't like feeling like they have to be on at certain times of the day in order to play the game a certain way. Now that is kind of a thing because people don't like being in the dark, and that's kind of why, WoW nights aren't as dark as they should be. I think they should be darker, but oh well. But yeah, I don't see that being a thing that they probably at least talked about, but they're like, no. I think for the sake of players and being able to play at their own time, they're not going to do something like that. World Boss, a fallen Nara who randomly spawns inside capital cities during high void storms, forcing players to fight in the streets of Silvermoon. So just like a capital wipe kind of thing. And then a new mini profession, or they call them, I think they call them secondary profession. Scribe of Echoes, it lets you create custom voice lines for NPCs in your home using pre-recorded voice packs. Wait, what? Lets you create custom voice lines for NPCs in your home using pre-recorded voice packs. Okay. Cute. Yeah, this has a lot of different ideas and features that are like, okay, some of these sound cool, but a lot of these are just like kind of whack. The sky whale. That one sounds funny. What was the one that I liked? The one thing that I liked was this one, the Void Rift system. I can see this. I can see, whether it's void or whatever the hell thing, whatever the hell feature it is, but, having something where things are happening all around the world is kind of cool. I think some of the dangers behind that, though, come from splitting, you're splitting players up in all these different directions. And if they're being split in too many different directions, then it's going to be like, okay, cool, let me go over here to like freaking nowhere, and like no one's there. And now there's all these objectives, and now I can't do it. So this isn't as easy of a thing to like put in, but this is like my favorite thing. Everything else is, yeah, right. Third thing, this one's nice and short. This one's called Midnight. Thrown away account. Yeah, that's what I figured. Gamescom playtest, Midnight. hey, we're batting 1,000 so far. Okay. New race customization for High Elves and Amani Trolls. Wait. So new rate. So not a. I don't know if this person is using if English is their first language, but so new race customization. But then they're talking like this as if they're like new races. But are they saying that we can take Darkspear Trolls and make them look like Amani? Something like that? And then the High Elves, they already look the same anyway. So I don't think there's much you can really get out of that. We've had High Elves. They're just named differently. So new class combos with Dwarf and Orc Druids of Void Elf Paladins seen on trailer. What trailer? We ain't seen the trailer yet. New Void Demon Hunter spec. New Evoker tank spec based on Sarkareth. A new Evoker tank spec based on a dead dude? I don't know, man. Class Hall revamp. Attached photo of the Dragthir Aberrus Hall. Oh boy. Allied races with ethereals and neutrals. Vol'jin returns. Housing confirmed in 11.27 for pre-orders. That's very plausible. But then that's something that folks have been guessing forever. So does someone... Okay, so here's the picture of that. That's it. That's all they got. So we got basic... Well, this doesn't even look great. And it's blurry. Who does... So I got a whole thing on screenshots and how they get these. Like, what did they do? Did they like grab their phone and be like, ooh, let me get this real quick? Boop. They did it like really quick and they couldn't get like a good focus or something like that. Like, yeah, that's like, it would be like super obvious. And from the looks of it, that's not even what this is. It's just blurry. It's just a screenshot of some sort of asset and possibly recolored or things like that and then made to look blurry. That's it. That's all they got. I'm not familiar with a focus on the... Oh, no. Oh, yeah, there is glare. Thank you, chat. Yeah, so this was like a screen of a screen. Is that real glare though? or is that just AI glare? Blurs to cover up AI or Photoshop artifact. Oh yeah, that's what it often is. Absolutely. you know, because a lot of it's going to look all jank looking, and then they just use like some sort of effect, or they'll just take a picture of the screen to like, you know, to gloss over or to obscure those imperfections. But yeah, this is bad. You know, give me something, give us something convincing. So Drakthir Aberris Hall. This is nothing like, this does not look like Aberris at all. Yeah, how is this? And yeah, that's anyway. So there's one more thing to look at, and this is the fun one. So we might be here for a while. So this last one is a series of 3 screenshots that I found on a Reddit post, and I don't think that wasn't the original post, I don't believe. So I don't know what the actual source of this is. Okay, not everything, but as you can see here, you know, so we have like some map of Northrend. So this is more like maybe a Last Titan leak than anything. So we have an idea of what the zones look like. We're going to revisit these, don't worry. And then we have like these other pictures of a screen going on here, where we see like the jailer in like high res form, still inside the sepulcher, just chilling. You know, no one bothered to go pick up his corpse or nothing like that. He's just been chilling there for I don't know how long has it been, like game wise. I don't know if this is supposed to be a Midnight or a Last Titan trailer, but for many years he's been chilling there. And then here's Xala'tath like looking back at him with the emphasis on like the big hole in his chest, and you know, we're supposed to infer things from it. So, like I said, I have problems when it comes to screenshots, but I guess first thing we'll take a look at the map. Now, this map, or the post, was only from like I think like a couple days ago at most, but this map was actually shown a month ago. So someone leaked this a month ago and showed this off. So what do we got here? We've got Northrend, obviously, but it's like been broken up. So the Nexus is somewhere down there. There's pieces here, so it almost sounds as if Grizzly Hills and Howling Ford like sunk or something like that, and all that's left here is Vordrasil over in Grizzly Hills. So it got nuked, it got wrecked or something. A bunch of Dragonblight, I'm sorry, got damaged. I totally forgot the name of the zone over here. Sorry, chat. It got nuked, and then there's just the Nexus. Now, of course, this is just the drawing, so maybe they just didn't draw everything in, and someone here only took a picture of what they had here, and I see like I think it's like fingerprints over here. Now, whoever did this, it looks like they went through the trouble of actually writing these out, so which I'm very jealous of how well they can write like that. I wish I could write as well as that. But yeah, they whiteboarded this whole thing and then took a picture of it, and it's like, hey, here you go, content. And I guess we can infer like a couple things here, like one, you know, the zone sunk. Some other small things to point out here. You know, they point out that Dragonblight is where the Valdrak and the Court are going to hang out. I guess they're trying to identify factions. So we have Earthen Ring, Argent Crusade, the Thragar and the Awakened, you know, the Earthen people, and like that's it. So we have those 4 factions, which I guess are going to be the 4 main factions of whatever the heck expansion this is. And for some reason, Icecrown is drawn in different colored marker because they got to make it special. Icecrown. And then I think down here it says AN for Azrael Narub. So that the kingdom is just like only that big, but it's not. It should be like all of that, right? If I'm getting my stuff right. But yeah, this image sucks. I don't know. This is it's nothing. It doesn't really tell me anything, and I don't even know if it's like a midnight thing or what. And I'm also looking at the artifacts that are here. I mean, it looks as if there were assets on here, but it almost looks like this was just a whiteboard that was crossed out. I think we should like emphasize like what's being written there. Yeah, maybe I should, as we look at some other stuff, maybe I'll see if I can like pull out the levels from that and see if we can reveal anything else. That might be kind of fun. Well, let's move on for now. Let's move on to these fake cinematic screenshots because they're super fake. And I mean, they look convincing, but we also live in a world of AI now. And none of these things can be like really all that convincing either, because of how sophisticated AI can get. Now, this looks like someone paid for it. You know, you can pay for better AI that can make more consistent stuff. Although I don't really have experience with it, so I don't know what sorts of difficulties, if any, there are with trying to set up all the proper prompts and all that to like make something like this work. I don't know, but it's one of those, again, these blurry sorts of shots. Like if you look at it, like, dude, people these days have very sophisticated cameras, and the way this screenshot is taken, dude had time to like, okay, let me make this like really good, and then I guess crop the rest out. But no, they had to bring this down to like nasty JPEG format. And here's me looking at this, and then it's coming on stream for you guys, and it's looking even worse. So as for the detail, it just looks nice. It looks nice. It looks kind of convincing, but also it looks like it pops a little bit too much out from the background here. Like it does, like the whole thing doesn't look animated. It actually looks like one of those kinds of videos where you see like just still frames on top of still frames in on layers, but that's it. It doesn't look like anything here moves. And then going to this other shot here, I noticed that like the composition of the whole there, it looks fairly consistent, which again, it just kind of shows how AI is doing better. So it's like, hey, I can't be mad at that. But here's what I find odd. The jailer is not small. None of the death people are small. We've seen them in raid fights. We've seen them in cinematics, in game, out in the open world, whatever. They're not small. And the way that this is framed, it makes Xala'tath look hella big. Like huge. And she's not. Unlike the Titan people, Xala'tath has never looked like she was like exceptionally large or anything like that. So the composition of this shot just feels flawed. Because I'm not good with the whole angle thing, but it just makes her look like she is close to the jailer's size when she should be up to over his knee, something like that. Not all that big at all. I remember for the raid fight, he seemed like a little bit bigger, but then once the fight's over, like he just kind of like shrinks down a little bit, and that's it. Otherwise, some of the other stuff, some of the other details of the jailer, like they exist or they're there, but also not. Like there's a rune that's on top of his head, but then there's also supposed to be, I'm sorry, some runes across like the chest and like the lower area there, and they're not quite present here from what I'm seeing, or at least I'm not like quite noticing that stuff. And we don't see her toes. Yeah, that's a good point too. Now there is a chance where in the cinematic, like she actually like descends down instead of like walks toward and all that. But also like I'm also thinking about this. It's like, why is Xala'tath over here this many years later? What makes now different? Is it because she has the dark heart and now she's going to use this sort of stuff to attack or something like that? What's the what would be the purpose here? But yeah, AI not understanding sizing and photoshops. That's very much what I'm thinking that is. The lens flare seems really unnecessary as well. So it's almost as if the lens flare was put in there to kind of like obscure some of the details here, but then there's a lot of effort that was put into the jailer here as well. I mean, looking at this, and I don't have the other model handy. Do I? No, I don't have it open. But Otherwise, the details, like, they match with the way like the coloring is and how this added a lot more additional detail. The pose is good, but it's also easy to replicate. So this one's good though. It's just a good screenshot. So I at least admire them for that. You know, whatever amount of AI credit things that you needed to compose this, well spent. This one looks pretty good. The other thing too, like, if now I know that this screenshot happened to come out, you know, a month ago, as said. So trying to piece these all together, that wouldn't be very a good talking point. But if we think about this too, this sort of video, who has this? Who can leak something like this? You need to be really, really high up if you're going to leak something of this level. And if you do have this much in your possession, you're going to leak all of it. Don't be a wuss. Just like reveal the whole damn thing. You know, you've already been caught, whatever. Now, so from experience, like, you know, so I've done third-party work for Blizzard now. When you need assets or anything like that, you have to go into a secure site. You have to put in like a certain login or whatnot. In my case, it was given to me. You know, so anyone who goes in to get assets like these out, they people know who that person is. So yeah, this person, no one's gonna risk their job just so they can leak a screenshot onto Reddit or MMO Champions and like get something out there. There's nothing to be had there. I'm pretty confident that people on the WoW team who are in there, they're not going to be like, oh, you know, I don't give a crap about my job. I'm just going to put this out for the glory or something like that. The most vulnerable time for WoW is going to be around this time, though. Yeah, to be fair, you know, before there's going to be like a big reveal and stuff like that, because assets are going to go out to marketing companies. You know, so there are a lot of those sorts of companies who are like printing shirts and stuff like that. They know what's going on, but not really. They just have, you know, these assets to print and direct and put out. This sort of thing, though, is pretty in-house. So it might be like, I guess one of the differences, though, is that we're going to see this reveal for Gamescom and not BlizzCon. So I personally have no idea what that sort of release is going to be like. How, you know, when did Gamescom get possession of the upcoming cinematic for the purpose of, you know, getting their whole sizzle reel up and ready to go for rehearsals and stuff like that? Because, you know, it's only a week left, and this came out like a couple days before. So, I'm still leaning on this being like totally fake though, because yeah. How would people react? Imagine how people react. Imagine how we would react. You know, here or like on like the big stage, if we saw this dude as part of like the opening for like the midnight trailer. That would, I think that would come with like resounding like, I don't know, what, or boos or something like that. But I guess it depends. Like the Gamescom crowd is not exactly the BlizzCon crowd, because people who are there at Gamescom, they're there for like all sorts of gaming. BlizzCon is very, very, very focused. So some people are saying, hey, this might actually be something for The Last Titan. And if this is for The Last Titan, this is, you know, omega fake. There's no way that the Last Titan thing is going to be like this ready to the point where they put the, you know, Blizzard Entertainment thing presents. That would be like there's no way it would be that far along, you know, this much in advance. So anyway, that's mostly everything that I have to say. I mean, I'm sure there's like more stuff that I can nitpick, but I'm gonna leave it at that because I've been looking on this last one for a bit too long. But what do you guys think? You guys think this one's real? You guys think the whole whale-sized mount instance with decor thing? How about that one? Do you think that one is legit? Or are we just having fun? Let us know your thoughts. and maybe your predictions as to what's going to happen for the midnight reveal in like a week or so. It will be fun, and I'll be here to do it with you guys. So feel free to join me here on stream, or just keep an eye out for videos. Like this video, subscribe for more stuff. Catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.